I think we're going to call this video The Mysteries of the Withlacoochee. Hope I can remember that, because right now I like the way that sounds. We're on the banks of the Withlacoochee River. We're in a cypress hollow, as you can see. The mammoth cypress trees. The one right behind me, enormous. There's a few smaller ones. But then the cypress knees, which are centuries old probably. It takes a long time for that to get that way. But you can see the water line on the trees. That is fairly high. I mean, I don't know, I'm seeing them down a little bit. I'd say the first ones are probably 4 or 5 feet high. These are higher, maybe 6 feet, maybe. And then that's pretty much the highest ones, even though this does go higher. But we're in the dry season. This is late April, almost May, and we've been in a severe drought. But even typically, ordinarily, this is just a dry time. Ordinarily, later on in the year, after the summer, this would be all underwater. We stopped here. We're kayaking down the. We're kayaking down from our campground up in Silver Lake. Just kayaking, exploring, enjoying life and nature, that sort of thing. Wanted to stop at this particular spot because this is the hill you see in front of us is a railroad bed. This line connected eventually to Brooksville. We've been over here once. I never really did anything with it, but we've been over to the other side many times. There are rails over there. There's a bunch of rails. I've done a video on that. There's probably 10, 15 rails. There's even a rail that a tree has grown around, and that's pretty neat, obviously. But I've seen this bed once before, years ago, and I didn't really look at it or investigate it or anything. You know it's a bed, though. It's obviously. There's railroad ties in it. There are railroad rocks. You know that type of granite that they use for railroad beds. You know what I'm talking about. All these trees, of course, would not have been here then. There's a railroad tie right there. This has been deteriorated over years. It would have come out much further. It would not be sloping like it is now. Would have come out much, much further. So that's kind of cool. Just to see that. We're going to go down here and check out some of the pylons that are on this side and on the other side. And as I've said, we've been on the other side several times. Almost stepped on a rattlesnake over there with Robbie a few years ago. He and I were exploring that area, and I almost stepped on one. He was further ahead of me. Anyway, here's some of the ties here, in line with the bed there, and in direct line with the ties over there. I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit if I can. Oops, I got to do it the other way. Okay. I'm trying not to shake too much. There's the ties there, and right on top of that hill, and you can actually, with my eye, I can see a rail, 2 rails going across. There's a hill there, and that goes, we've actually taken that all the way back. It stops off of private land, and it connects up with Croom Road in not too many miles, and the beds that ran along Croom through there. So this would have been a major thoroughfare to get across this river. So we're going to go up on the top of this bad boy, get a good view. Do moccasins make a sound before they strike? I hope so. Here's another tie, or not a tie, I'm sorry, a pylon up here. There's a lot of rock down here. There's a lot of coquina rock, limestone rock, and a lot of railroad rock, the granite type. So this was obviously a railroad bed. This would have been the foundation of this area here. So as years have gone by, the sand, the dirt has deteriorated. The rocks, of course, never deteriorate. There's another pylon right here. Very clearly something supporting the rails above it. These are obviously supporting something very heavy. So we know, again, if there were no more evidence than the railroad rock, the granite rock that you see on every railroad throughout the world, especially here in this country, that would be enough. So here's a tie. We see a tie up here, it looks like. Maybe it was a support for the railroad itself. Yeah, I don't know, maybe it wasn't a tie. Maybe it was just support. Here's two more of these pylons here. So, and as we saw before when we came up here, it's just, now it's a road. I don't think there, whereas on the other side behind me, there are rails there. There are spikes there. We found spikes there. But this is just a road that goes back to wherever it goes. Obviously connects up because there's people out here. I think we'll have to walk and check that out. But we're very high up right now. Obviously this was built to protect from the water, to build something out to the river, to protect from being flooded or overrun with the water. Right down there to the bottom of that tree, to the base of this little hollow on both sides, it's a good, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 feet. I mean, at least 30, if not 40. I mean, it's a long little ways down there. So we're high up right now by comparison to our basic surroundings. And the same is true on the other side, although the ecosystem on the other side is not cypress right around this. It's not a cypress hollow right around the, you okay? All right. It's not a cypress hollow. It's more, more pine trees and oak trees over there, if I recall correctly. There's walking trails and all that sort of stuff. So the whole area is a little higher up on that bank of the river. But anyway, this is pretty cool. So we're gonna continue our search into the mysteries of the Withlacoochee to see what is what and who's who. The Withlacoochee area that we're standing in right now was a major stronghold for the Seminole Creek Indians back in the early mid part of the 19th century, and the battles, many of the battles took place within 30-mile radius of where I'm standing right now, which is just south of Iron Bridge area, also the Iron Bridge day-use recreational area. Now the Iron Bridge remains, they were used, I believe, for foot traffic or maybe horse and cart traffic or something like that. It were not used, it wasn't a railroad bridge. There's not much to it. There's no substantive structures like there are here. No infrastructure whatsoever. No great big huge beds or areas. No evidence at all of any kind of railroad activity. So we're going to walk down this path behind me and see if we can find anything else cool, and shut this bad boy down for now.